Live for now till the interweb gives out and says no. And we're going to do a midday Saturday live feed. Pour out my old coffee. We're making new coffee. Got one person in here. And so while we're making coffee, we'll go live. See if anybody comes in here. And I know I don't get quite the good numbers. We're buffering a lot. Got the ad in there. Oh, but anyways. James Best wanted me to go live early this morning. I was like, no. I told him I had a bad signal, but we're going to try it. We're going to try this. So I've got the YouTubes on here. See if we're buffering a lot. And we'll get into some of the comments and everything. Yes, it's buffering a lot. You've been buffering a lot too, James. I don't know if that's signal down in the basement or what. And but you know, it's not about the numbers for me. It's just about right now. It's just about killing time because I don't deliver until 2. I think it's 2 or 2:30. Let's just check our load here. And yeah, 2 o'clock. Now check this out. I had to get me a tire repair yesterday. I'm always calling myself an idiot. And I'm going to explain to you why. And we'll also talk about the Pale Rider show. We'll also talk about that. Man, that coffee maker's slow. All right, so we'll do some shout outs and then we shall begin with probably nothing, but okay. We got Chris again, Rick LP, the other trucker James Best, Daniel Adami, Moonflea. Good morning, Moonflea. Getting a tough beginning there, aren't you? Light Bright, Pale Rider TV, Trucking, TJ Jones, Bull of the Woods, Stay Out of Idaho, Montana. There's lots of so, says Karen Price. That's crazy. What is it? Almost June, right? Daycap Slim, GNC Family Trucking. I'm good. Good deal. Spectre is present. And I forgot the mute. Oh, SoCal just went live. You can watch the replay with him. Okay. And the Hool. Did you check out C6 Steve? No, because I didn't know how to spell that, the Hool. You're very hard to understand, even when you're doing your hillbilly voice. So let's talk about trailer again. It was a different tire this time. So I'm cruising along I-44 like a rocket sled on rails, right? And I'm sitting there chatting away on Zello, all of a sudden, boom! The guys on Zello heard it. So, pulled over, and I had blown the left inside front. Not sure why, not sure if I hit something, but there was quite a few vehicles disabled on the side of the road with flat tires, both big and small. So I'm thinking maybe there was something in the road or something. So, but we got it taken care of. Bosselmans did a really good job. And now here's why I'm an idiot. Last year, I went out of my way to put a spare tire rack on my trailer, and I put a spare tire there. I had to replace a set of steers. One was still good, and put that one in the spare tire rack. So I'm here at the shop, you know, and I'm thinking, man, $400 for a new tire, you know, labor amount and everything. And I kid you not, guys, as I was leaving the parking lot, I remembered I had a spare tire. I didn't have to spend $400. So, you know, when you make a mistake, what you do is you justify it in your mind. I hope the phone doesn't get too hot set up there in the sun. Let's grab a hat. Grab a hat and see if that can keep the sun off of it. And there we go. And I thought, well, let's justify it. Well, that'll be good for if I just need a road call and I don't want them to bring me a tire, right? So, but hey, I got 17 more to blow, so you know it'll be all right. So I've been driving for 10 years and I've never had a spare tire rack, so I just completely spaced it. So I am far out there. Okay, let's put my glass back on. My allergies been bothering me here lately. Wow, I can see. Pale Rider didn't do a Friday Live. Well, he had issues with his location and he was driving late. So I believe if Pale Rider text would hint at what I believe he's going to go live tonight in place of that. So that'll be good. But I could be wrong. So Pale Rider, if you're in here, say, yo, man, Steve, quit lying. Or say, yeah, Steve is correct. Clyde, good morning. Chasing America, Nathan Galloway. It is what it is, says Moonflea. Newsflash, I'm drunk and Daniel Adami is the Diet Texan. Careful, Lahul. He's got a wrench now. So, Charles Brandt, anybody have the circle of death cut now? Yep. Yeah. Okay, I had to go out and come back in, says Charles Brandt. Pale Rider was driving late. No way. Yeah, I know. Charles, how you doing? I thought you said put the spare tire rack backwards. I've seen it put on both ways. The way I've got it on, you can only put one tire in there and you have to kind of do it from underneath the trailer, and it was kind of a pain in the butt to do it because you can't really stand up. But the place that put it in, they swear that's how they do it every time. I wasn't out there because you're not allowed to be in the shop area because of insurance reasons, that kind of thing. So, relaxing at home. Yeah, guys, this is a second weekend I've been working. Second weekend in a row. Desperate times call for desperate measures. Desperate times. That is what we are in. Then we're going to give the old APU a rest. But Pale Rider TV apologizes, and he will be back on tonight, I believe, because he was asking me if I was going to go live, because Saturday night it's usually my deal, you know. So, I believe we shall get our Pale Rider TV show. We shall get it. Yeah. Now, I do want to talk about a couple of things. There is a topic today. There is a topic. I had a really good conversation with someone yesterday. Oh, crap, I just spilled coffee where I sit. Better than spilling it on my nuts. All right. Turn that off. There's a nice piece today, so we are going to open. Have I ever tried to change the truck wheel out in the field? No, I don't have the proper tools. Time for beer, not coffee. Well, James, that would be kind of impossible for me right now. Number one, I need beer money. Number two, Jeff kind of frowns on that thing. So does the DOT. You know, doing that in the truck live on YouTube, that probably wouldn't be good, especially since I got to drive today, right? So, you do you and I'll do me. But, weekend BS session. Oh yeah, says Booby. You gotta love these 680s. You got this nice platform. Anyways, it's a really good conversation. Let me find the channel here. And I want to promote this dude, okay? I shared it on my community page. Let's look at my history here. Yeah, I watched a lot of videos, so I'm going down. Okay. There is a channel called Trucking and Oversized Freight. Full name is... Yeah, I'm getting Circle of Death myself. Well, this is... Okay. Trucking Oversized and Freight Podcast. I want guys to check that out. Okay. I shared it on my community page. He has some really good insight on some things about this whole broker regulation thing. Because what a lot of you people don't realize, and this is something I somewhat realize, but not to the full extent, is people think of brokers as just a guy in the office or a guy at home in his pajama pants calling, you know, with the list of customers that they pull freight for. And it's so much more in depth to that. And so I commented on Trucking Oversized, you need a shorter channel name. I commented on his video. He said, hey, reach out to me. So we talked on the phone yesterday for about an hour and a half, something like that. And we could have gone on longer, but I had to eat dinner and all that. And it was interesting, the history that he told me. And you know what? I probably could have like shared this on the link. Let me man, I don't have my act together, guys. I'm sorry. Library. Let me share this dude out. I'll put the link in the description. Copy link. Now, there's really not much to watch on this video. It's more of a podcast with a picture, which, you know, essentially that's what that is. But I want to do a live interview with this guy. I think he'd be a great guest for Pale Riders channel. Orchestrate that between him and Pale Rider. But you know, put it on that StreamYard thing that Pale Rider's doing now. But he had a lot of really good insight that really kind of opened my eyes to a few things, and it kind of confirmed my suspicions of how in depth that it is on the other side of the wheel, right? Because other than Freight Broker Live, who I don't watch, nothing against the guy, but I haven't really seen anything that helps me with this channel. This guy had a lot of insight to share, and the more you can understand the other side, I think the better off you'll be. The more you understand your business, the better off you'll be. I mean, whether you agree with me or like me or not, you can't disagree with that. The only way that you're going to succeed and beat all these other yahoos out here is to have some kind of competitive edge, whether that's a small market niche or a specialized item or more knowledge than the other guy. And one of the when I was a company driver, one of the best things that ever happened to me was there was a dispatcher I was kind of having a little bit of issues getting along with. I had heard all these horror stories, they had just given me this dispatcher, and I was like, oh man, and right off the bat we were just at each other's odds, right? So one day I'm in the yard and he calls me and he's like, hey man, come over here, I want to show you something. So I go in the office, which at that time at Transland, they had bulletproof glass, and it's like a big separate. Now you can go back there and show me his two, all dispatchers have two monitors, right? And he showed me exactly what he looks at, exactly how he showed me everything, like how when a load's booked and when it's put on me, and then when I do check calls and what it looks like. And he even showed me the Qualcomm, and he could show my truck, which Jeff has shown that too, which ELD, you can almost get a Google Maps of, it's not your truck live, but you can actually see your tracking live. And it was really eye-opening on some of the things that I didn't understand from his point of view. And it was extremely helpful, because after that he and I got along, and I thanked him for that. And I said, you need to do this with every one of your drivers if you get a chance, because the more they understand you, the less problems you'll have with them. And the guys that took the time to do that were able to do that. The guys that were like, screw him, he's the enemy, screw that guy, they're the ones that had tougher time, with, at one point, I think bigrigceo called me Golden Boy over at Transland, because, I could go in there and do no wrong, and that was by design, and it's nice to see seniority still doing a thing, but and to this day I have a good relationship with them. They have a brokerage that I use quite often. And so understanding, because the way you got to look at it, guys, is the broker is your customer. That's it. That's your customer. It's not the shipper, receiver. It's the broker. You are servicing that broker. Okay? They are not there for you. You are there for them. And once you understand that, then it's a mutual business relationship that's in everybody's interest. Then you can kind of build off that. And creating a foundation in which to build with is how you create a solid business plan, a solid business foundation, right? And I'll get to the comments here. I'm trying not to get too far behind, like some people, and by understanding what they deal with, and understanding the science of how logistics works, because there's like 5 or 6 different models. It's not just shipper, broker, driver. That's not it. That's only one aspect of it. There's multiple aspects of it. And the guy had no problem giving me information that was helpful to me, because he's not in the dry van world, And so, but he has experience, he's Landstar experience. So we were able to, and Jeff, this, you and I will have to have a conversation about this later privately, but this guy has Landstar experience. And so we were talking about that, and we knew, I think we know a couple of mutual people, because I know a heavy haul guy that did really well, or is doing really well over at Landstar. And it was, he told me some negotiating tactics, and, and like almost to the point that I'm excited about calling brokers now, because there's a few things that I think that kind of changes your You got to think outside of the box. Now, what's encouraging to me is that a couple of the things, the reason why he reached out was because he felt that I had a decent grasp of the situation, and I haven't been making a whole lot of noise whether brokers should be, you know, legislated and all this stuff, you know, and kind of went over the different like aspects of contracts and discrepancy. That's a big word, you know, and just the whole, you know, if you look at the broker as your enemy, they're going to be your enemy. If you look at them as a business partner or as a customer, you're going to be better off. And the ones that I see succeeding out here are doing that. That's what they do. They work for 2 or 3 of the main brokers, you know, and or 2 or 3 main people, and then they got consistency. They're not fighting every little mom and pop brokerage in the middle of nowhere sitting for 2 days trying to find a load. That is, and so it was a really great conversation. I look forward to more conversations too. So we got trucking with Kevin and Ollie. Yeah, sub that guy, and one of these days we're going to get an interview with him, I think, because he really wants to help. He does a podcast. I'm only listening to a couple of his deals, but I think he has a lot of knowledge that could help a lot of people, because face it, guys, if you're an owner operator working the spot market right now, you're a business person, you're a professional, you need to act like it, and you know, crying about the rates is not doing anybody any good, right? You know, there are means to get more money, especially now. Rates are going up, capacity is starting to be in our favor, and there are some really good weekend rates out there. I've got a decent rate for this weekend, which is why I'm out. And then the truck's going home next week to get a PO, and the APU is getting a PM. So next week's going to be expensive. And it's probably going to cost as much as I made this week. But, you know, my costs are low because of things that I've, what do you call it, arranged in the last couple of weeks. BB Trucking, what's up? Dirty Broke. Let's do Drunk Fest live feed together, says Kevin. Yep, Kevin and James do it after Pale Rider speed, but that would be awesome. True statement there. Thank you, Spectre. As a dispatcher and law enforcement, we had to ride with an officer for a week, and they had to sit in dispatch so that we had a mutual respect for each other and know what each goes through. Chase America, that's awesome. We, at Transland, we suggested that, and they did that. The owner went, and now the owner wasn't sleeping in the truck, you know, or the CEO, but that was a suggestion that myself and bigrigceo made to these guys in our little drivers committee that we had on driver, you know, office relationships. And ride-alongs are awesome for that, you know, and that's the beauty of why Eric, I'm going to call him, is really good at his job, is because he's been a driver. You know, he's been in the military, he's been a driver, and he's been an owner operator, and knows the self-dispatch system, knows the broker system, and you know, now he's doing well. And he had the build from the bottom up twice, so he kind of knows his stuff, right? He does. John Armstrong's in the house. There you go. You are here. Trucking Oversized Freight Podcast. I am cheating you a little bit. So, but right now all you have is YouTube. Act like it equals pants and boots and safety vest. Southbound Jay, what's up? Trucking Oversize. We need to shorten your name there, Trucking Oversize. Steve, be here Wednesday for a ride along. Well, this brings up a good point, though. But Jeff's been dealing with a few things in the last few days, and he and I were on the phone yesterday. We talked about it a little bit, and it's, I get kind of worried when I don't hear from Jeff for a couple of weeks, like personally on the phone. And when he's not doing live feeds and he's not talking to anybody, that means there's some stuff going on, right? So, but he and I had a good conversation. I don't know. It was really kind of. Yesterday was a good day on the phone. And yeah, even Zella was good, man. Even Zella was funny. I mean, I was laughing my butt off. And, the flat tire kind of soured the mood a little bit, but yesterday was a good day, and I appreciate people that reach out to me that want to help, and they see, I don't know, some kind of potential in me, which is kind of weird to me, but but so be it. And I think that goes back to be the calm one in the room and figure out your strategies. And my strategy is to figure out, what can I do that will leverage me over everybody else? Like when Spectre was talking about profitability, he could actually take a lower rate than the other guy because his truck's paid off, right? But you still shoot high. When you tell somebody, well, I can take the load cheaper than you, well, but it doesn't mean I'm going to. But it gives you a competitive edge. And everybody needs a competitive edge. That's how the free market works. And so if you take the competitive edge out of the broker, guess what? Guys, really, there's two reasons why rates are down, okay? One is supply and demand, okay? Supply and demand. Too many trucks, guess what? It's brokers name their price. Not enough trucks, we name the price, okay? Number two, drivers that are desperate, or drivers that don't know what their true cost per mile is. That's what drives rates down. Here's a perfect example. I used to take loads from Landstar into El Paso, okay? And the load boards were just so bare in El Paso. Jeff, you remember that, right? And it was like hell trying to get a load out of there. So I'm looking, I can't book ahead, so I get to El Paso, and I go to the Petro there. And it was a sea of Landstar trucks. It looked like a Landstar terminal. And some of the trucks were nice, and some of the trucks were kind of like, And so I was talking to one, and it's like, well, what's up with the load board around here? It's like, well, look around. There's a ton of Landstar trucks that have already got this loads before it hits the board. And then he goes, number two, there are guys out here that'll take 75 cents a mile all day long, and they love it because their equipment was paid off. And so I had no competitive edge. I had no leverage in El Paso. I believe I ended up taking empty cans out of New Mexico up to somewhere. I don't even remember what I did. But I ended up in El Paso twice. Natas, what's up? Moonflea, you've been keeping him busy. You have. We talked yesterday almost as long as the James Best video. Almost. And we could have talked longer, but I had to eat. Right? Gonna be Bob the Barber in a few. Awesome. San Antonio too. Yep. Moonfleet. Yep. Good morning from snowy Livingston, Montana. I almost took a load up to Montana. Truckers Live. There's one that was actually kind of intrigued me. I'm thinking it's late May. Shouldn't be a problem, right? Guess not. So tell you what, that's why I got so many clothes in the truck, because I've been that guy that had to go to Walmart and buy a jacket because I didn't expect it to be snowing in August. So Go figure. The Hool, that's a whole different story. But the whole point of that is that that's one of the reasons why rates are down, is because there's too many trucks, right? And the people that know the right people, the people that know the brokers, the people that get those loads before it hits your DAT board or your 123 load board, those are the guys that are keep moving. Those are the guys that are booking ahead. Those are the guys that have developed a foundation and they're giving a take. I know guys whose rates haven't changed. Their volumes changed a little bit, but the rates haven't changed because of the product and because of the brokers and the brokers that have that product. Now, with that being said, there are weak owner-operators and there are strong owner-operators. Well, guess what? The brokerage world has that too. And that's something I also know. TOF, which that's a good idea, and I agreed that the brokers were slicing each other's throats. It was like a pack of wild dogs is how he put it. The agents at Landstar. And that's how it was, trying to get stuff off the load board the day of or the day before. It was just like agents were undercutting each other on 3PL stuff, and it was crazy, and that was driving the rates down. Or you'd book a load with one and they would like call you, well, you got the load, but before sending a rate con, can you do it for $200 less? I'll put $200 on your fuel card. They were doing that maneuver. And I got tired of it. I couldn't deal with that anymore. Because Landstar knew about it and they encouraged it. And so to me that doesn't create a good platform for what I need. So like I pointed out in my video a while back, change your platform, and I did. I went to Schneider, boom, I got money in my pocket again. I got a second truck. Things were happening, things were styling, and I bought a trailer and went to like trucking for opportunity to go beyond just the regular broker stuff, to go beyond just the regular whatever. And we're plodding along, not as much as I wanted to be. The whole logistics specialized van stuff, I realized that I kind of went the wrong route with that, but we can get into that later. Learned a lot from our talk also, what would help drivers now. Absolutely. The Hool has been on fire. The Hool has been on fire for the last 24 hours. He was cutting it up on Zello. Like I thought, man, he was relentless. He was giving everybody crap and people were giving him crap. It was like Kaislin, like 2.0. I mean, and he's sitting there taking it all from, these damn Americans beating up on the Swede who's talking like a hick American. It was great. Gotta love wasps. Damn wasps. Anyways, that's the only bad part about sitting with the windows open. But there's such a good breeze. There's like 50-mile-per-hour winds last night. Someone had a picture of a hailstone the size of like this that went through somebody's roof last night in Oklahoma. And I think I was part of that storm. Although we never saw any hail here. So he's always flaming. That's a good one. But yeah, the Hool is our favorite Swede. Besides Angelica Larson and King Nyman. No, King Nyman's from Denmark. Never mind, sorry. He's Dutch. I screwed that up. Murder Hornet. No, it's just a regular old-fashioned American Hornet. That's all it was. Nothing like having coffee around my coffee. Guess I took a page out of Pilot. But anyways, TOF and I think are gonna I want to help build this channel because the more we can help drivers understand their business. See, that's the thing. A lot of people don't even understand the business. Like, if I went and opened a bakery, okay? Well, I know how to bake. I know how to follow a recipe. I know how to cook things. I even know a little bit how to sell, right? Yeah, and I'm pretty good about coming up with products, and my wife would be a tremendous, great help. but it doesn't mean I know the business. And I think that's part of the problem, is that just because you're a truck driver, just because you've been driving for 20, 30 years, and you've been to the Bronx to LA to Alaska, doesn't mean that you're a good business person. Doesn't mean that you understand the business. Now, does that give you an edge on the guy fresh out of CDL school? Absolutely. But I also know business owners or ex-business owners that got their CDL, became a truck driver, and then became owner operators with less than 5 years experience, and are doing just fine. And so now let's talk about something else, okay? Let's talk about entitlement, okay? There are people out here that think that because you've been out here for 20 years that you deserve this higher rate of pay over everybody else, okay? The way you work yourself up into the ladder of success in trucking is through position, not through the actual driving job. Let me explain to you. You start off at a company, you put in 5 good years, you get raises, you get cost of living raises and all that kind of stuff. Let's say you're just a day cab guy, okay? And then you went and did OTR, did that for a couple of years, then you went back to being a day cab. Now you are wanting something more. Switching companies is not going to be it. Because if you present yourself to a company and say, hey, I've been driving for 15 years and I deserve X amount, that company would rather put a person that doesn't want as much money because they feel they have no leverage. They would rather hire that guy. That's why you have CDL mills. That's why the mega carriers want you to only have no experience, so they can tell you what they need to be done. So you don't sit there and have an ego. Well, I've been driving 20 years. You can't tell me what to do. My dispatcher ran into that all the time at Transland. He'd get these guys that used to be owner operators that come back to doing a company thing, and you know, I own 2 trucks and I used to do this and I've been driving for 25 years. You can't tell me how to go into whatever. And companies hate that. They absolutely despise that, because any company that knows your value, they're going to put you in a position that puts you higher than just a driver. You're going to become a trainer, and then you become like you know, in the school bus system you had like lead drivers, and then you had the office guy that managed all the drivers, driver manager, and you work your way to, like, I trained a guy that's now the safety director over at a tank company, you know, and you know, he did his grunt work, and then he worked his way up the trainer, and then, you know, and then he worked his way into the office, and now he has a position of power. That's how it's done. That's how you get more money out of trucking, by being just a regular driver. You can't just be a regular driver and think, because once you're like 5 years, you've done it all. If you've done OTR for 5 years, coast to coast, you've done everything. You've done winters, you've done big cities, you've done small towns, middle of nowhere, you've done everything pretty much in 5 years. Every now and then you'll have an incident, it's like, wow, I've never done that before. But for the most part, you have enough experience to take anybody out here and train them to drive a truck. You have enough experience that you kind of know what they're talking about when they send you a message on the Qualcomm, okay? So if you want to go beyond the pay that a regular driver gets, you got to get to the point where you got to do more stuff. You got to have more responsibility. So you want more power, right? That's what you do. And so here's a perfect example. You know, I talked to a Coca-Cola transportation manager, and he said I would rather have a guy fresh out of CDL school than a guy with 20 years experience. Now, in a regular job, like say you're a welder, that baffles your mind, right? Because you kind of want seniority. You kind of want the guy who knows his way around the block. You kind of want to know that, but going back to what I just said about that dispatcher, well, the driver that's been driving for 20 years expects too much. And if you can't go beyond just driving the truck, then most of the time you're going to be hard to deal with, and then you're going to have trouble wheeling that guy in and telling him what he needs to do, instead of him just doing it, and some companies will take advantage of that. Some companies, they want somebody to be an idiot so they can tell them, hey, nothing wrong with that trailer, go for it, and it's crazy because you think about the liability aspect. Jeff gave me $10. Hell yeah. Thank you, Jeff. Thank you very much. Oh, see, the fool, you pushed Daniel too far. I got this big ass parking lot and they're going to park right there. And idle, probably. I like that. Spoovy says, I'd run over the Hool to hear Angelica Larson further through a CV. That's great. The Hool is offending everybody, right? Most companies somewhat cheaper unless you get into specialized hauling. Then maybe our company that has some loyalty to drivers, but otherwise you're just a number, right? And that's difficult. You got to find the company that there's some loyalty, right? And there is, no, get me wrong, there is importance to seniority. There is importance to loyalty, okay? And if you find a company that's loyal to you, it just doesn't want to cheap meat in the seat, then hold on to that company. But the problem is that most of us, damn it. The problem is that most of us take our jobs for granted. It's too easy to switch carriers. I know a lot of people that are discontent and they switch carriers 2 or 3 times a year or 2 or 3 times every other year, and they're never happy. They're never happy with anything. And so you got to look inside yourself and figure that out. Is it the company or is it you? Do you hate truck driving, or you just haven't found the right company? Well, maybe you need to do better research if you keep choosing the wrong company, right? And if you're a lease operator, there's more on the line because, other than Schneider Finance and maybe another couple others, you can't really just take the truck anywhere you want. So you got all this money invested in a lease truck, and if you're unhappy with the company, then you clean your slate further than you want. Whereas is you kind of get your act together, get a truck on your own to be able to move that truck wherever you want. And so you're not a slave to that company or a slave to that truck. Start over from the beginning. This is the beginning, Provost. I've only been live for 3 minutes. Hool can't be bounced from Zello anymore. Yep. Oh, let's talk about that. Pale Rider has acquired a god complex in Zello. If you want to see it, just go there. He can now interrupt us. He is like all of our dads, right? He is the father of all of us. He keeps us in line, and he'll just interrupt. If we're saying something stupid, he'll just hit the interrupt button. He's got a god complex now. He's got a god complex now. Say that 5 times fast. And so just beware if you come into Pale Rider TV Zello channel. Quick Williams, you've been with the same carrier for 8 years. That's awesome, because I am not a job hopper either. In 10 years, I've been with 4 companies. Only one as a company driver. And if I decided to ever give up this owner-operator gig, I will go back to said same company. You know. Look at Pale Rider do his He-Man impression. Look at that. Look at that. But anyways, it was really good conversation. Understanding, you know, I mean, if you want to look at the broker as an enemy, if you want to defeat your enemy, you have to understand your enemy, right? So if you want to go that route, let's go that route. You can do that. You have to understand the enemy. But if you look at him as the enemy, they will always be your enemy. Keep that in mind. You're on your way back to the dealership, Thomas. What are you buying? You buying a W990? Why don't you sell me your truck? Get that 990. Sell me your truck. And I'll get that. I'll get the SBA loan. I'll pay it off with that. Did you kiss and tell or some crap? What are you talking about? 9 years with Schneider, 5 as an IC. Yep. I've got a friend of mine that was with Schneider for a long time, then ended his time at Schneider as an IC, and he's got his own authority now. So, you know, in that, you know, when you're looking for a company, don't take the recruiter's word for it. Talk to the drivers. You know. And don't just look for blanket statements on Truckers Report or Facebook. You know, find the drivers, see what their retention rate's right. If they got a pretty good retention rate, then more than likely they're probably a decent company, and you just got to have your act together and you know, and don't be an ass. People forget how to be humble. Absolutely. Apparently, Salty and Wilson has some lover stuff going on. One of the wheel seals you had replaced blew out. To be the man, you got to beat the man. You gotta love Peterbilts with 12-inch pipes. The Zello channel Daycap Slim is Pale Rider TV. Trucker Lisa, what's up? Yep, only one company for me. That's true. Lisa went from driving a school bus to prop trainer there, so. My wife and I were talking this morning, and she mentioned somebody named Lisa, and it's like, I know like 15 Lisas. Which one? But I just wanted to get those words out and let everybody know that Pale Rider TV should be going live tonight. If there's any other comments, questions, or concerns, put them up here, because we're already at 48 minutes. This has gone by. I usually try to keep them within an hour, because I have way too many people tell me, well, Steve, I don't go back and listen to replays of hour-long live feeds. So I'm like, well, excuse me. You know, if I got to say something for 10 minutes, then I usually just do it as a recorded video. Know what, Pale Rider? You're not going live tonight? Nissan is slashing 20,000 jobs now. Yeah, we're not out of the storm yet. You know, everybody's like, hey, the economy's bouncing back. Yay. No, we're not quite there yet. Not quite there. There's light. There's a little bit of light coming through the darkness, but it's not like, everything's back to normal now. John, I'll let Pale Rider explain it. Pale Rider, you explain it. But anyways, any other things that you guys want to talk about? You had your coffee, felt like you got stood up for a date? Well, John, Pale Rider posted on, I believe, something that he was going to go live today. COVID numbers are skyrocketing. C-cup medication? What are you talking about? That Swedish humor is weird. That styrofoam cup isn't green, Steve. No, but my truck is, so there's that. As we speak, my wife is at the recycling center taking about 3 months worth of stuff over to the recycling center. So I've earned the privilege of using this cup. So kiss it. Anyway, as we dropped off, so everybody either went to watch SoCal or somebody else. I don't blame him. I don't blame him. Moonfleece, styrofoam will disappear with the plane. That's true. Burn it all to the ground. Yes, GNC, I think Pale Rider should do an interview with, I think that'd be great because, number one, Pale Rider's got a stronger channel than mine. And number two, it'll be great content for his channel. For people that want to understand the business side of things. Because face it, if you're struggling right now, it's because you don't understand the business side of things. That's just it. I know that's a blanket statement, and I despise blanket statements, but I know that my weaknesses, that my issues that I have is because I don't understand, is my lack of understanding in the business. I will set it up, Pale Rider. I will. Thomas, I'm going to, I pick up in Oklahoma tomorrow, and that goes to Arkansas for early Monday morning. I'm talking like early. And then from there, I'm more than likely going home because I got trucks like, hey, we need some stuff done. You should have done this the week that you were off, idiot. My truck actually said that to me. Can you believe that? The Hool, Shadow Wolf did not retire. Shadow Wolf is still a truck driver. I'm beginning to think that the Hool is drunk already. Oh yeah, by the way, So I'm at this Bolero, right? And I can use the bathroom, and I wash my hands really good. And I watched a guy use the urinal and then leave. He didn't wash his hands. So I took some paper towel, opened the door with it. He's the guy working at the counter. He works the counter. He's serving people food. I'm like, yep, I'm out. Made my own coffee. Have a nice day. What's with you guys menacing the moderators? What's up with that? What's up with you guys? There was. There's three main guys that work here. One is obviously hip to things, you know. I think he kind of runs the business, and I think the other two are the older hands that have the money and all the place. And one of them has really, really bad BO. And what's interesting is that, well, no, I won't get into that. I don't want to be accused of something. I won't get into that. But yeah, it's interesting here. But the parking lot's wide open. There's plenty of space here, and I get a good signal. So as soon as I go 5 miles that way, I got no signal, no nothing, and it's difficult for me to even call for a lumber check from the brokerage. Bad BO. You should meet the East Side crew, aka Colacas. What is Colacas? Is that a city? Alright, Moonflea. Moonflea, call me later if you want. Bye, Moonflea. Alright guys, so we're going to end this live for coming in. I appreciate the super chat, Mr. Jeff. And I appreciate TOF. Check out his channel. The link is in the chat. We'll even put it in the chat one more time. Check him out. Subscribe to him. I think he's got a lot of knowledge that could help a lot of us business owners. So with that being said, that's what it's all about, right? You know, if you're gonna live the life out here and live the dream, make it a dream, not a nightmare. Anyways, guys, take it easy and have a good day.